With that down, we got 2 more to go. So let's move on to main topic number 3. And our third main topic today gets submitted to us by Jeremie Tshibasu, who writes, on top of a Bambi remake, it's official that a live-action Lilo and Stitch film will premiere on Disney+. John, I know that the originals will still remain nonetheless, but do you still think this is necessary, especially since the originals are so good? Should they remake unpopular or underrated properties instead, like Treasure Planet or Atlantis? All right, thanks a lot for the question, man. And for those of you who are not really sure what Jeremie's talking about, yes, indeed, they are doing a live-action remake on Disney Plus of Lilo and Stitch. This comes to us from Animation Magazine, who writes, Chris Sanders, who co-wrote and directed the original film with Dean Du Bois, is expected to return to voice Stitch. The studio is still on the hunt for a director for the remake. Mike Van Wees wrote the script, and Aladdin remake producers Dan Lin and Jonathan Eric, I'm sure I'm mispronouncing his name, of Rideback are producing. They are also on board the Disney Plus Inspector Gadget movie. Zoe Kent and Louis Provost are overseeing the production for Disney. So we do have a remake, live-action remake on the way. To answer, Jeremie, your first question, is this necessary? You guys know what I'm going to say. No motion picture in the history of film has ever been necessary. There has never been a movie that had to be made. That's just my opinion. They get made because we kind of want them to be made, and maybe they can be successful, and all that. That's why it's made. No film's ever been necessary. Lilo and Stitch, though, Rob, I didn't look it up, so I can't remember how old this film is, but it's been a minute since this movie came out. I mean, we're talking at least 20 years, I think, a minimum 20 years. So it's been a minute since this came out. So why not? The question about, but the original was so good, but that's what they're banking on. They're banking on the fact that the original was so good, much like Aladdin did, and Aladdin made over $1 billion. Not all remakes do, but Aladdin did. But that's what they're banking on. They're banking on, if we remake this, a beloved property that people already have positive associations with, that has brand recognition, which is always one of the big hurdles to get over when you're trying to market any new product, be it a toy or be it a movie or be it a phone or whatever, is brand identification and brand recognition. That's a big hurdle to get over. You get something with like Lilo and Stitch, you've got a lot of that already built in. That's already built in here, Rob. So that's why you see movies like this being remade, because you can. A lot of people questioned, why do Aladdin? The first one's so great. Well, yeah, but that's part of the reason why you do another version of it, another take on it, because you want to capitalize on the fact that it's so beloved. And we got not as good as the original animated Aladdin, but in my opinion, we got a thoroughly entertaining, wonderful, fun live-action remake of Aladdin that, for the company, made over $1 billion. So that's why you do stuff like that. I think this is an interesting one. I think that what I'm more curious about is the fact that they're making it specifically for Disney Plus as opposed to theatrically. So I think that's kind of interesting. But you know what? Sign me up for at least being intrigued by this, Rob. You hear they're doing a Lilo and Stitch live action. I'm sure it's going to mix in a CGI Stitch, but how are you feeling about it?
Well, I really like Lilo and Stitch.
Me too.
And the idea of it in live action does fascinate me. Like, how are they going to make Stitch? How are they going to do these things? And I don't object to it. I mean, to be honest, John, I should have hated all of these live action adaptations, but ever since Cinderella, which you and I have talked about,
which you and I both love. Yeah,
I love Kenneth Branagh's Cinderella. I was like,
me too.
I'm like, oh my God, I'm gonna go see this. And I'm like, no, I really liked it a lot. And since then, sure, it's been. I didn't maybe necessarily love Beauty and the Beast, but I didn't hate it. I certainly appreciated it, and I love The Jungle Book.
Yeah, me too.
And there's been a lot of stuff that I really like.
Maleficent is a little iffy, but yeah, Jungle Book, Cinderella,
Maleficent, is a character that came from a movie. There wasn't, there wasn't a Maleficent, it wasn't one of their classics. By the way, I just looked it up. Lilo and Stitch was 2002.
So it's like 28 years?
No, it's 18.
18 years? Yeah.
Yeah, 18. And I kind of want to see how is it all going to work. I hope they don't have the Sonic the Hedgehog controversy, but I think that I'll watch it. I'll watch it if it's good.
Yeah, me too. So the question here is, guys, how do you feel about them doing a Lilo and Stitch live action? Are you thinking like I do, which is like, yeah, why not? Give it a shot. Maybe it'll be good, maybe it'll be bad. Or do you feel more like some other people? It's like, no, don't touch Lilo and Stitch. I don't know. How are you feeling about it? Jump down to the comment section below and leave us your thoughts. All right.